Unforgettable. That's what you are. Unforgettable. Though near or far. Like a song to me. How the thought
Just a matter of time, I suppose.
to me. Never has someone that's why, darling, it's incredible that someone so unforgettable thinks that I am unforgettable too. Unforgettable.
It's a joke. It's all a joke. Forgive me.
And forevermore. That's how you stay. That's why, darling, it's incredible that someone so unforgettable thinks that I am unforgettable too.
I bet you guys are wondering why. I bet you're wondering why I played that clip. I bet you're wondering, okay? I want to tell you something about that clip, in a minute, but, we have an election year coming up, right? Next year, 2024, uh, it's election year. So, I'm black. I'm a black man. I'm straight. I'm a Generation X. I'm in my 50s. I have two kids, boys. One's an adult already. The other one's school age. I'll put it that way. And I've been around the block a few times. Well, the election year is coming up, okay? And me being a black person and shit, like I feel a certain way because over the last few 48 hours or so, I've been seeing a lot of videos about this, that, and the other. You know, I'm from Chicago, from the south side of Chicago, and our city has been in the black community in the city has been in turmoil for decades. Okay, and they just gloss over it. And Fox News, all affiliates, just use us as a cannon fodder. A story. Propaganda and shit. There's a lot of propaganda stories, and you can usually tell if the Fox News is attached to it because they're not even a real news channel. They're fake news. All right, but like this shit is showing up. So you see a lot of crap. And I'll get real personal with it and shit. I'm really irritated. A couple of days ago, I saw the Umar Johnson thing where he was blaming black men for the condition of the community. And then you saw a bunch of other shit, come out, like different things. And I know they're all kind of distractions. So right now, a bunch of dumb shit's gonna happen. A bunch of ops, intentional and not intentional. They're gonna pop up with these stories, and we're gonna be all distracted, and we're gonna be talking about this, that, and the other, the latest outrage, the latest disrespect, all that bullshit. But I want us like next year to be, in Congress with one another, and I know it won't happen. All right, I'm depressed about that. Okay, I want us to get off the hamster wheel and just all you have to do is sit on your fucking hands. Don't vote for the next fucking president. Okay, don't vote for that shit. We had Joe Biden and shit. And he seemed like he mad because like we didn't think he was cool or something. He's like the rich asshole that's a complete dick and a clueless, bumblefuck that keeps coming around and you don't want to talk to the motherfucker. He's annoying and you much rather just stuff him in a trunk and leave him there. So like we wanted reparations, we wanted a crime bill, and people are always telling us why we can't have that and shit and how divisive shit is, and we don't give a fuck. And we just get the blame for everything in this community because I feel bad that the world is still based on this retarded ass notion of color and shit. But you know, if I say white supremacy, who gets butt hurt and shit? More black people than white people, you probably believe. If you're sitting in where I'm sitting at looking at shit, it's retarded. But I'm just talking, about my own ethnic community right now. All right, we get the blame for all the bullshit, and they use code words and dog whistles and shit. I'm just tired of all that bullshit. So you know, like in that opening clip, the guy, the assassin, his name was later revealed to be Ozymandias. It's part of an epic poem. You can look that up. That once you motherfuckers get some kind of educational value out of the words that I say, all right, Watchmen movie, okay, movie Zack Snyder's best movie he ever did, best comic book movie he ever did in his life was Watchmen, okay, all right. So like next year's an election year, right? We got a bunch of assholes showed up. Even Obama showed up and he's talking about the language of how the Democratic Party talks to us and shit. And then we had the Republicans making their shitty comments. I just don't give a fuck, man. I don't give a fuck. I cut a fart and shit, okay? Listen to that crap. I don't want to see Obama talking to us about shit. I want him to stay retired and keep his head staunchly up, his ass or whatever guy he's sleeping with ass and shit, okay? He did a shitload of damage to our community, and he's never going to be held accountable for it except in a court of public opinion. That just don't sit right with me. All right? I never gave a fuck about Trump. I thought it was hilarious that Trump was voted into office and shit. He did a lot of dumb ass shit. And like I thought to myself when I looked at Trump during his presidency, I thought if this was the 1960s, then he would have got, he would have been like on that Kennedy motorcade deal. He would have got popped because he did a lot of shit threatening the national security of this supposed country and shit. And they didn't give a fuck. That's how I knew the fix was in. That this place was truly being run by the insane asylum was truly being run by the inmates and shit. And just like when you look at all the bullshit, you know, the right wing and shit, and the left and shit. And there's no difference. They all fuck with us. We're the meat in the sandwich and shit. It's not a victim narrative and shit. It's negging and narcissism to tell somebody you got whose penis, who's feeling your psychological penis in their ass and shit. When you banging them and shit and tell them that's not happening. Okay. We want what we want, even to the point of extinction, when you finally find a way to wipe all of us out one way or another and shit. We're gonna go into the ether still wanting our justice, still wanting all our shit, okay? Still wanting purity. We don't want to be equal and shit. We just want to be whole. You can't understand that, okay? And I don't expect that you will. And I don't even have conversations with people outside of my ethnic community about that, much less a lot of people inside of it and shit. Some people want to be in this situation. They're happy with it and shit. They can't live without it, nor should we force them to do so. So I advocate, saving yourself because, I think that if my people, my black people as a collective, black people, I think if they're going to survive, they need to build some sort of community outside of the system, outside of the country and shit. There's never going to be any parity there's never going to be any restorative justice that would be satisfying to us. We're always gonna have to fight everything. And I think you should prepare your children, you know, or anyone that you can help and mentor for that reality and shit, okay? The reality that they have to become citizens of the world instead of this country and shit, okay? Everything is designed to fuck us over and shit. It makes me sick. But it's not the reason that I paid to play the clip and shit. I played the clip because I know that black people are gonna go for the okie doke in part or big portions of it, maybe in whole and shit. They still gonna buy into the system no matter how much you bitch and convulge and shit. So, it makes me feel a certain way and shit. And I'm just here, I'm at the place where, that scene I posted is, okay? I'm at that place now. I've reached that place. Now, I want to explain to you that scene and shit. In that scene, the movie Watchmen, in that scene, the guy that was murdered, he was a op, okay? He was an op for the president. And he was embedded in a group of people, heroes, if you will call them, even that, they barely make that, designation. They barely measure up to the word hero. But he was embedded in that group just to fuck it over. All right? He was embedded. And at one point in the movie, they were having a discussion about how to best help the world and the planet and shit. And this dude, he shot it down. He took his lighter out and he lit it on fucking fire. He lit the little map they had on fire and made some kind of snarky comment and walked out smoking a cigarette and shit. All right? And then later on, you just see him enjoying the chaos and the darkness and shit. When Martin Luther King, right before he was murdered, they had a staff meeting in the room, that room on that balcony where you see him where he gets shot. He sat in front of all of his associates, his peers, you know, a lot of people, some famous people were sitting in that room. He told them everything that was going to happen after he got murdered, and he told them not to take the deal, not to make a Faustian deal with his government. And after he was assassinated, every last one of those people betrayed him, except for a few. All right, it's very sad. Okay, and so we get to that clip I posted, and the comedian, that government op, that son of a bitch, who loved chaos and destruction, was a murderer and a rape, just like all kind of fucked up. He was a malfeasant, malignant, demonic entity and shit in the body of a man. That super soldier, as a matter of fact. He gets assassinated and shit. And it turns out it's the guy that was talking to him about how to fix the world when he decided to be all brand new and take his cigar and light the guy had like a little paper map. He decided to just burn that shit up. So later on, this guy came looking for him and murdered him and killed him and shit, assassinated him for being an asshole. And he knew that the other reason this guy was extremely, logical about everything and methodical. It was actually his superpowers of having a superhuman obsessive compulsive disorder. Uh, the reason, the real reason that he killed that guy was because he burned that map. This is the only time in the movie that character shows emotion. If you watch the fight very closely, the guy is the guy that's killing the comedian is letting his unchecked rage and hatred of this man, you know, he's letting it run amok. All right, he's letting it run amok and shit. I feel there. I feel there. And 2024 is coming up, and I'm gonna sit back in my chair on my fucking lawn chair in the front of wherever I'm living, and watch this shit burn down. And you niggas is gonna do whatever the fuck you want to do and shit. All right, I'm 54. I'm the elder statesman of my ethnic community for whatever's left of it and shit. I take no responsibility for the condition that it's in, but I do admit to being eaten alive by it at times. Maybe it affects my life today, but I just wanted to let you know that for whatever happens in the future, I am Ozymandias. Okay?
In a rage.
Oh yeah? Yo, why is that, G?
Other races, they say we act like rats in a cage. I tried to argue, but check it. Every night in the news, we prove them suckers right, and I got the blues.
America.
Get busy, Humpty.
The red, the white, the blue, and the blue and the red for Crips and Bloods, the white for who's got you doing time. Busting caps on one another.
The underground's down for peace among brothers.
Kill a black man?
What?
Yo, what are you, retarded?
Tell 'em, Hump.
Yo, do you work for the Klan?
Do what you like.
Unless you like gang banging. Let's see how many brothers leave us hanging.
This message has been paid for by the Dusties. Yes, the niggas you love to hate.